Well, good morning, everybody. Hello. Hey, it's Becky from Power Tools with Thread. You are in our Stitchuation room on Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. Central virtual stitching retreat, where you hang out with me in here, obviously visit with all your online friends. And I hope I can inspire you to put something under the needle or in the scan and cut or whatever the case may be, right? Awesome. Great to see everybody here in the chat. Awesome. Awesome. I love how you guys visit with one another. That is so nice to have such a great quilting and stitching community together. So good. Dave wants a Frito visit. Sounds good. Where's my girl at? She's here somewhere. Oh, she heard her name. Here she comes, round the camera. Let's see. I'm going to turn this way. She's shy of the cords. You're going to have to come over here, baby. What did I do with your biscuit? There they are. There they are. There they are. There's our Frito. Here, let's come back over here. Come here, baby. That's my girl. There she is. So pretty. That's a girl. Wait. Oh, you're going to go? Oh, woo. That dog. Fortunately, cattle dogs are pretty aware of where their feet are. So she's not. Yeah, her butt's just a wiggling. Do you want your bone now? You got to brush your teeth. Come here. That a girl. All right. Go brush your teeth. Bye-bye. She goes through her little dog house. Isn't that cute? That was the easiest thing to do, you guys. I just took, what do they call that? Not poster board, but it's thicker, whatever. I got it at the Dollar Tree and wrapped it in fabric in the shape of a doghouse. How cool is that? And centered it over the flap in the door. Awesome. Okay, so just a couple little things before I get started. Yesterday, I did the 2 blocks for the Prairie Home block of the month from Fat Quarter Shop. I'll show you guys those. I put them in the public Facebook group, but there they are. Y'all, I changed my fabric line. Let me zoom in so you can see them. This is month 3. Let's get in month 3. So we have the pine tree, and then I don't remember what they called that one. So got those done, and you might notice I changed my fabric line. I don't know why. I guess the bright colors in that line from Sherry and Chelsea I wasn't feeling it. So I went with Lori's bead dots. I have a whole Fat Quarter bundle of bead dots. And the other way, Becky, the other way. There we go. And then the background, I had oh gosh, I must have about 5 yards of cross stitch. So I decided to change it. Now, I didn't do the blocks yet for month 2, so I don't have to redo those. I can just do those in the bead dots. Month 1, I did in the other fabric line from Sherry and Chelsea. Was it Strawberry Lemonade? I can't remember. Anyway, yeah, I just wasn't feeling that. So I decided, yeah, thank you, Tracy. She says she loves the fabric. Thank you so much. I do too. For a prairie thing, I felt like I needed to go with the actual Lori Holt line. So also, before we get started, I had a fantastic Zoom call yesterday with representatives from Riley Blake about the Autumn Love quilt and future projects. So excited about those. They've got a whole new embroidery team that they've put together, and I got to meet them, even a digitizer who did not digitize Autumn Love. I'll tell you that. So we talked a lot about what you guys expect, those of you that are seasoned embroiderers and you know how things go, and then those of you that are quilters that are starting to dip your toe into the embroidery world because you've got that big arm on the machine, right? That you've got a combo machine, or maybe you have an embroidery machine and you really haven't gotten a lot of use out of it yet. So yeah, we got all into that, and they did receive, those of you who emailed Riley Blake about your concerns with Autumn Love, they got them, they've read them, they're looking at them. So you are heard, and I think that's fantastic. I'm very, very happy about that. So I think that going forward, you guys are going to see just an amazing, I got a sneak peek at some designs, And I think you're just going to love what's coming out. So I'm very excited about that. And we're going to, tomorrow, we will do the stitch out of the oak leaf block. Okay. And I've got some ideas about incorporating some edits, if you can, with your machine and or your software to work with the trimmer by George, if you want to put batting in it ahead of time, or just do it the way the pattern is saying now. So, all right. Yes, of course Carol says, thanks, Becky, for representing us. You bet. You bet. Y'all, believe it or not, I'm just one of you. I'm chopped off my head is what I've done here. I'm one of you, okay? I'm not employed by any company except Power Tools with Thread. And so I love being your voice, and I love being able to take what you guys tell me and sharing it and being able to be an influence in the industry. So I just think that's wonderful. And I want to thank Riley Blake. You know, it's hard to get those big companies to you know, pay attention to what we're saying sometimes, and we just don't know where to go. We feel like we're not heard. So being a voice for you is just a pleasure. All right. So Mary, I don't know about that. I don't know about that. If they'll do some updates. The issue with the updates is how do they verify who actually purchased the USB and who didn't? Because the USBs were purchased through retailers, right? So unless you have a receipt or whatever, that would be kind of hard to do. So anyway, today is the first day I have felt like myself since we got back from that 2 back-to-back cruises for Sew and Sail. Y'all, I'm just too old for that. I'm just too old for it now. We have been home for 10 days. We got home on the 8th of June. I went to bed last night at 8:30 and I got a solid 9 hours. Oh my goodness. Just exhausted. And finally, today's the first day I'm not feeling weary, you know, just still bone weary. I hate that feeling. So yes, Sophie, she says, thanks to Riley Blake. Absolutely. That just shows those companies, you know, they want to, I mean, it's good for them to listen to you, right? Okay, so today I am going to, well, thank you, Sophie's. You get a gold star. She says, I'm looking great and rested. Don't know how I do it. Yeah. Let's see. I stopped for happy hour at 4. That's how. So, today I want to quilt a quilt for Debbie. Debbie was actually in attendance at the Embrilliance class I took with Lisa Shaw last March here in San Antonio. And we were talking, you know, before or after, sometime in class. And at the time, Sewing Machines Plus was still doing the Takeover Tuesday. And I had run out of tops to quilt. I didn't have any more. And I was kind of stuck because I was doing their King Quilter 2 Elite demonstrations, right, with Pro Stitcher. And so I was talking to Debbie and I said, I'm out of tops and I don't know what to do. She said, well, I have these 2 quilts that I've had forever, years and years, and they need quilted up. And I said, well, I'll quilt them for you. You ship them to me. I'll quilt them on Takeover Tuesday. And then you pay the shipping back and we'll call it good. She said, sounds great. So she sent these 2 quilts to me and I got one of them done. And then the social media manager at Sew Machines Plus went on to other opportunities because I don't generally quilt for other people. That's not what I do. I get so many people ask me, why did they stop Takeover Tuesday? Cindy, it's because their social media manager left. And the guy who was doing it his name was Andrew, and he went on to other things. And then the guy who was taking over for it, Kyle, I met him at Road to California in the Sew Machines Plus booth. Very nice. Did I meet him? No, he was not there. It was their maintenance guy. Anyway, so he's like either maintenance or logistics or something, warehouse, right? And he's just not equipped. He's just like, I can't do this. And so he did it for 1 month after Andrew left. And then now they're actually looking for a social media manager, I believe. And if you know somebody, and it could even be a work from home thing, I think, I'm not sure. But let me know and I can put you in touch, right? They're looking for folks. Anywho, so, well, Debbie, I'm glad you're here. Yeah, I think this is the Debbie. I'm going to do your quilt today. This is Debbie. This is Detective Debbie. She's a retired New York City detective. Can you imagine? And a quilter. I just love our audience. I think you guys are amazing. So interesting. All right. So that's why they stopped Takeover Tuesday. So then her quilt, her second quilt, has sat here. Let's see. I got them in March. I did it in April. May was canceled, Takeover Tuesday. June on the cruise, but we are leaving on the 2nd of July for our summer classroom trips in the motorhome. So I won't be back until the end of August to my Longarm. So I thought I need to get this done. And what better way to do it than to do it with you guys? And that way I make sure to get it done. So I've been vigorously watching Pro Stitcher because it's been a minute, right, since I've done them. So anyway, yeah. Oh, look at that. Quilting with Harriet. I'm glad you're here in case I need you, Harriet. Harriet is a retired handy quilter educator. So she's always got my back. Okay, so now they're talking. Here we go. While you guys chat, I'm going to get a sip of coffee again, right? Again, if you guys, I have a Liberty Laser does my mugs on Etsy. I've got a link to them below. Just beautiful stuff. This is the gold one. These are laser etched. This is not a decal. So cool. So cool. I saw Lisa put her cold mug with the handle on our Facebook group the other night. What do you need to do about the 1/2 inch difference between the blocks 1 and 2 and 3 and 4? What you're going to do, that's a great question, Patricia. I was going to address it tomorrow, but I'll tell you guys today. You're going to do exactly as they said in the instructions. You're going to take a centering ruler, center it over the block, okay? Make sure it trims to 5.5. And then when you use your 1/4 inch seam allowance, it will be right. Those blocks finish at 5. And that's one of the things that I talk to them about is that the instructions only give us a trim size. They don't give us a finished block size. And quilters love a finished block size because that makes sure we've got it right so that everything fits, right? So anyway, that's how that's going to be handled. And the way I did it with using the line that it put down, which is actually a basting stitch, you were going to have a tiny bit of the stuff in the seam allowance anyway. Neither here nor there, right? It's all going to work out, all going to work out. So I hope that answers your question. You need coffee and a muffin. Patty, wander over to our virtual kitchen. Every stitching retreat has a virtual kitchen. Scotty Dog's in there, making sure that's running. Barbara's on the coffee. Help yourself. And on the way in, you guys give me a thumbs up. You're in the right place. It's just pretend, okay? So give me a thumbs up. That's free. And please subscribe if you haven't already. Be sure to hit the bell for notifications so that you know when I am going to put on another live. All right. So let's get going here, shall we? I've got another camera set up here to look at Pro Stitcher. So this is the King Quilter 2 Elite on a 10-foot frame. And the King Quilter 2 is proprietary to Sewing Machines Plus. So the King Quilter 2, you can see, has a large screen on the front, okay? And I've got the tablet on it for the robotics. I have tried my hardest for over 10 years to drive the Longarm myself, and I cannot do that. I can't follow a pantograph on the back of, like a paper pantograph on the back of the table. Can't do that. Barbara says she needs another cup herself. Good. Go for it, girl. That's great. Maureen has the same setup, and Maureen had emailed me beforehand about getting the King Quilter 2 Elite, and she absolutely loves it. I have a link to it below too. Or if you call Sewing Machines Plus and you tell them that you're interested in talking to somebody about that, about one, please let them know that I sent you, and I'd appreciate that. So I've got this big 10-foot frame set up here. The lights overhead are Luminous from Grace. I've had these lights forever. I got them when I got my first King Quilter, and they had them at the show when I was at Houston, and that's when I bought all of this, you know, that's when I got my first Longarm and got all the setup and everything. So that's where the lights come from, because I get a lot of questions about those. I love them. They come in like 5, 8, 10, and 12-foot lengths if you want to get them. And I highly recommend it. They're fantastic. The setup comes with leaders. And you guys, I have sewn in the Sew Tites magnets. And I'm going to get those and show you. My frame is 10 foot. Whoop, let me get this up. So the frame is 10 foot long. I had a 12 foot at one time in a 15 feet long room, and it was just too big. And I never, because I don't quilt for other people, I never really needed that much frame, the 12 foot. So I went back to a 10, and it's much more comfortable for me, even because this is a converted 2-car garage. So, and it's huge, right? But I need that space on either end. So, okay. I'm going to move on down here just a second and show you guys what I got. I did on this frame. Now, I will tell you, all Handy Quilter accessories fit this machine. Okay. This is an 18-inch throat machine. And the King Quilter 2 Elite comes with not only the handles on the front for people like me who can't drive from the back on a pantograph, but it also comes, you can see the top of the handle right here. Okay. And it has a little screen back there for those of you that like to do the pantograph from the back. Okay. If you're not into doing the whole tablet thing, which is fine. Easy peasy. Okay. So I have got in this cute little bag that Joan gave me a couple of quilt shows ago. She came running up to me. Here, this is for you. Love it. I've got my Sew Tites in here, and these are the Sew Tites Magnums. Okay. And I have 4 sets of these that I purchased. Is it 3 or 4 sets of these that I purchased over time? Okay. They're pricey. I'm not going to lie. But for my old hands, and today I'm having real trouble with my joint and my pinky. Arthritis, acting up, my osteoarthritis. So that's why I like those, because one, it's easy on my hands to load a quilt. And 2, you don't have, like you do with the red snappers, you don't have the bulk, especially on an 18-inch throat, you don't have the bulk of the snapper back here in the back. That matters, okay? Because as it rolls up, you're going to get that bulk. I know people swear by them. I had them at one time and they're great, but you do get the bulk. If you've got, Joyce loves the Sew Tites for the long arm, right? I have got a video showing how these were installed. I put them on the take-up rail and the belly bar. I don't have them. Do I? Oh, I do. I have them on all 3 rails. Okay, I have them on all 3. So I put them 6 inches apart. And what I did is I just sewed a little pocket every 6 inches. Okay. So I started at the far end or down here, as the case may be, and slipped in a magnet, I sealed it at the end. Okay. And then 6 inches away, you can even still see kind of the marks where I put them. With the long arm, I just stitched it. I had the leader pulled up, and I just stitched a little thing. So the base is 4 inches long. The pocket is 6. So it has wiggle room the metal does to slide back and forth in order to, like, say the quilt lands right in the middle of the gap, right? I can push the magnet over on both ends and straddle it with a magnet if I have to. Okay. Why do I store the magnets separately? Oh, you're welcome. Patty, why do I store them separately? Well, they have different magnets for different purposes, right? So I just keep them separate for the most part. Most of my magnets don't have a back in here. Most of them are just like this. You know, they like to grab onto each other. Okay. And so this is what the back looks like. And they're pretty strong. These magnums are super strong. I love these. I use them more on the long arm than I do anything else. Okay. So they're great. This little magnet will hold Minky for backings. No problem. Easy peasy. Okay. Let's see. Have I ever pulled a quilt off the bar with the magnets? No. Yeah, you were able to fix it, Lynn. Good. I've not done that. Of course, I probably don't quilt as much as you do, right? Okay. So, what else do I need to tell you? On the accessories for this machine, oh, sorry, there we go. On the accessories for this machine, additional that I purchased, I did get the laser for the machine, and it connects into, so this USB that's plugged in right here is the laser. Okay. And that way I can tell if I need to restart in a specific spot. I can find it really easy with these old eyes of mine. And then I also have the additional handlebar that I use, or the hand crank right here. Very handy, very, very handy to have that. Okay. While I was at Road to California, I got the casters because I'm almost 5'9", and it lifts it up higher for me. So that makes it more comfortable for me because they pile it high in Texas. All right. So let's get going on this quilt. For those of you who are thinking about quilting for other people, you might get a quilt just like this. Okay. It came in a box, and it has the backing and the batting and the top already sandwiched together. So I need to remove that whole thing and get that done. And I'm just going to go through the process as if, you know, you're standing here in my room with me. And let's see here. I need to get this thing unfolded. Okay. I have got the thread is called Incredi thread, and it's from Sweet Pea. It has a sheen to it, and you can see it's kind of a beige color. That thread blends beautifully. That thread gives me zero problems. I think I've quilted like 4 quilts with it already. Never a thread break, not one in 4 quilts. And then you can get it on their website, and they do ship from here in the US, even though they're out of Australia. So if you want to try a really good thread, it's a poly, okay, and it's got a sheen to it, but there's something in the fibers. It just blends in beautifully to everything. So, all right, let me get this. I have a camera in the way here so that you guys can see the screen too. All right. What do we got going on here? Is there a pin? What's happening? No. What is this? Ah, it's got stitches. Didn't see that coming. My husband makes these amazing seam rippers for us long armors. Am I a long armor? I think so. I have a long arm. Does that make you a long arm? Let me get this undone. It looks like somebody tried to get it going for a while and then didn't, right? Interesting. How'd that happen? What's going on here? How long is that seam? Oh, my word. Debbie, this is going right down the middle of the quilt. Hold on a second. See, this is what happens, y'all. Let's see here. Look at my messy room. How about that? Okay, let me put this down here. Let's check this out, see what's going on. You get these things from folks and you're like, oh, okay. There's all my fabrics for the quilted Christmas tree we're going to do while we're on the road. Let me see here. Where is that? Yeah. It looks like a stitch in the ditch attempt is what it looks like. Let me do this. Oh my goodness, this thing's been stitched. Uh-oh. So it has been stitched here all the way down and here all the way across, here all the way down. Like this, it's already stitched in the ditch. Okay, so I'm not going to take it apart. I'm just going to throw it on the long arm as is. How about that? Yeah, it's got stitching on all of the giant pieces. How about that? The first one did not. The first one was not together at all. How about that? Okay. So I'm just going to put it on the long arm, y'all. Nothing for it, right? Okay. The things you figure out. Did you remember that, Debbie? Oh my goodness. Now, the thing about putting a quilt on the long arm, y'all, a lot of people like to put it in the center and find zero center and make sure that's absolutely perfect. You don't have to do that. You can put it wherever you want, okay? Not necessary at all. But this thing's already, and I don't mean it's basted. I mean it's 12 stitches per inch stitched, okay? Tack down? No. Carrie crafts, it's not tacked down. I wish. That's fine. So probably won't have any kind of shifting or bubbles, right? That's for sure. Okay. You don't have to put it in the center. You just need to get it on there straight, right? Especially if you're going to be doing the pantographs so that they're not wonky. Now I'm looking at a line that's straight across here on a seam. I'm going to put it on that bar and kind of get that even. Okay. I've got so many projects I need to get done before we leave. This is one of them because I want it in the mail back to Debbie before we go. And a friend tried to show you how to do it. That's all right, sweetheart. It's no big deal. That's okay. You know what? And this is a real good opportunity for a training thing, right? So you're going to get quilts like that, and that's fine. I love it. So where was I going with that? Yeah, you guys that quilt for other people, you definitely are going to get quilts like that have been sitting around forever. And I mean, that happens. If you quilt for other people, let me know in the comments or leave a comment below the video of quilts that you've gotten that gave you a big surprise. I'd be interested to hear your story. Why wouldn't you have quilts sandwiched together? Jane, normally you put the backing on first and then you lay the batting on it and then you put the top on. That's normally how they come, okay? They generally don't come pre-stitched. And if they do, you know, you just need to make sure that it, and I looked at the back when I was going around the table, that it doesn't have any big bubbles or ripples stitched into it or anything like that. So no pattern, made it up as you went along, had to use a jelly roll you won. That's hilarious. Okay, so I'm going to use my Sew Tites and get this thing attached here. And I just threw it on the bar wherever. Again, it doesn't have to be center. I'm going to get back behind the frame. You can do it from the front. I'm going to do it from back here. And normally when I do the Sew Tites, okay, I'm going to put, let's see here. I'm looking at that. I'll put one in the middle. This is how I do it. I'm going to put one in the middle and then one on each end. And make sure that everything is straight on here. Okay. And I'm trying to put, I've got the old selvage from the edges. I'm just going to put that on in those three spots and make sure everything's nice and smooth, looks good. And then in the middle, half again in the middle for each one. And then go ahead and fill in the gaps. These magnets are so strong. They work so well. That's just the easiest way. They're so strong that I have at times, I'll put 3 on the bottom, on the end, you know, on the belly bar, and then forget that I only put 3 and quilt the whole quilt. And those 3 magnets hold the end just fine. Nuts. Then I get down to the end and I see 3 magnets. I'm like, oh my goodness. And I'll go around and, you know, put a couple more on just to be safe. But yeah, they handle it just fine. Okay. So great. I've got magnets right here, nice and tight. Works good. Oh. And you've got to create the tension on the quilt. So you just got a grace long arm. Oh, I'm showing you how to, yeah, Lucy, I have lots of videos too on using a grace. But you know, there's a lot of long arming that there's a lot of knowledge and steps and procedures and all that go into long arming that regardless, oh yes, right. Great, Deidre. That's right there. Oh, sorry, wrong one. Sorry, Kim. Hold on. Whoever asked why I only had backs to the magnets, this is why, or the tops to the magnets, why they're separated. That's why. They're inside, they're encased every 6 inches in the edge of the leaders, okay? So now I just have to go around the top and go click, 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 done. See how easy that was to get that on? No pins. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Okay, so then the bottom edge of the quilt, I'm going to drop in here. Now, I did a video a couple years ago on how to make sure your edge of your quilt, the bottom edge of the quilt, is straight on the long arm. You can mark center and put it on the center mark on your long arm if you want, right? That works occasionally. But on these backings, on the backing, you don't know if it was woven straight, printed straight. You just don't know. And so, let me get out of here. Shouldn't the quilt back be wrong side up? It is. It is wrong side up. Yeah. It's okay, Candace. Yeah, it's wrong side up. I forgot the idle bar. Oh, you're right. Thanks. I do that all the time, you guys. Oh my goodness. You're absolutely right. I sure did. Yep. See? I sure did forget the idle bar. Now, I pinned it on wrong, right? Pinned it on wrong. Happens all the time. How easy is it to fix this? Just pulling the magnets off. I do that all the time, you guys. Oh my goodness. Good thing we're a team. See, it's been a minute since I did this. I'd have figured it out eventually, and then I'd fuss at y'all for not telling me. Okay, so come up from underneath the idle bar. There we go. Let me lock this down. There. Okay. The idle bar, that's this railing right here, this one that's down below. This provides, instead of going from the take-up rail down to the belly bar, see how angled my arm is? This rail provides a flat surface, okay, so that you can get a nice, pretty even stitch there. And one of the problems, the only thing with an idle rail is you're taking up quilt space up here, and you can tell the top of the quilt is already up in here, right? Okay. So it takes a little finagling to get these to work well, because one of the drawbacks to the magnets, and it's a good one, is that they are so strong, they're going to want to hang on. They'll grab this bar under here, and the case of the machine is metal and will grab that too. Yeah. So you have to be careful not to allow that to happen. Okay. Let me get that in there. There we go. All right. Y'all, I do that all the time. Oh my goodness. Okay. So I'm going to make sure as I roll it up that I don't have any kind of I was going to say drag lines or any kind of rippling in here in the well. But because this quilt was already stitched, I want to show you guys what I'm seeing. Let me switch cameras. Okay. Let me go wide here. Look at that. Can you see how that's pulling up right there and then down? It's kind of got a little wave to it. So that's got to get straightened out. Okay. So I'm going to have to really pay attention to that so that it doesn't get all, you know, loopy on here. It's not even. Okay. It's not even. So even though the backing, Harriet, are you rolling your eyes? Even though the backing is straight up on top, it's just not. Let me see. Yeah, it's not. Oh my goodness. Let's see here. That's going to be a something. Why did I pick this quilt, y'all? That's going to be something. Let me pull this out. Okay. So I can tell this seam is not straight. This is coming way down here. I've got some work to do to make sure that that's kind of straight. And then I also, that's going to matter when it comes to my life as a long armor for hire. Harriet says, you'd take it apart, Charlene? I don't know. How many magnets do I have for the long arm? You're going to buy them for your 7-foot. No, they're not in my store, but I have a link to them below, and I have a coupon code for 15% off Sew Tites. So go down in the description box, and I think it says there's a section that says discounts, where it says more under the video, ... more. Tap that. It'll open up all my links, and then look below where it says discounts, and I have a discount code for Sew Tites. For a 7-foot frame, probably 2 sets of them will be enough, I would think. Okay. Give it a spritz of water, smooth it back. Yeah. It could be. No, I don't think it's the left side is lower. And that's the thing. I've got to get that worked out. So that means I got to get the quilt top flat, figure out, get it as straight as I can. And that may mean more or less on the edge of the backing. Okay. More. Yeah. You can see that that top is not straight on there. And because it's been sewn in, take it apart. I don't know. Coffee break. Where's my cup? Oh. So these are the things that go into prepping. And that's why I called this video long arm quilting setup, because sometimes the setup takes longer than just getting the thing quilted, right? All right. I'm not taking it apart. I'm not going to do that. Okay. So y'all don't want to sit here and watch me take this apart, right? So I know an electric seam ripper would take no time at all. This just makes you want a long arm. That's the intent. Yeah. Mission accomplished then. I have one of those electric seam rippers. It'd still take me forever. We'll try it and figure it out. Okay. And if I can't get it straight, then I'll take it apart. But if I can work it out, then I'm going to quilt it. Okay. So I'm putting center seam here about even with center seam here. Looks like it's going to go fine. I should move these. You guys ask me all the time where I get these little cabinets. They're from Wayfair. I have a link to them. It's not affiliate, but I put them there so you guys can see it. See, and I can tell that these edges are straight with one another. The quilt's square, at least, right? Debbie, you're a pisser, as they say. I love it. Oh, my goodness. Getting this straightened out. And that is important to get that quilt so that as it rolls up, that it is able to move back and forth on that belly bar so that your backing doesn't get, because it'll quilt in a big fold and you don't want that. That's bad news. So let me get some more sew tights here. Just grab a few more. And I'm just going to roll this up so my back magnets are on the top of the bar and pin it on. Magnetically pin it on right there. That looks good. And the reason you only put 3 or 5 if you have a giant quilt, this one isn't huge, is because if you need to shift it at all, you don't have to go through, 10 or 15 magnets. You only put 3. I will never, ever again go through the business of doing a quilt with pins. I just won't. So how many sew tights for a 12-foot frame? Michelle, I would use 4 sets. As I said, it's an investment. I know. All right. So this batting is here. Let's smooth this out. Michelle, you long arm for other people, right? To me, if you're long arming for other people is even more reason to want to have sew tights, because time is money, as Harriet so quaintly put it. All right. These sew tights are so strong, they'll hold through the batting and the top. I'm going to put one on here to the metal bar underneath. And just get this smooth. Okay. There. Now the top, I'm going to leave loose in case I need to move it. Okay. I just want to make sure that this goes on nice and smooth and straight. Okay, so here's the bottom seam and it's not straight. Yeah. I almost have to take this apart, you guys. Almost have to. Let's see there. Oh, I had said the other day that I was quilting and I did not care for the bamboo cotton blend batting because I got a bubble in it. Y'all, it was not bamboo and cotton. It was bamboo and hemp. It was that blend. Not a fan. Okay. Trying to make sure this bottom seam is straight on this rail. Now, when you're doing this, don't worry that these edges are not absolutely exact. They don't have to roll up on top of one another like a perfect little roll of foil. Doesn't have to do that, because if the backing is wonky from the manufacturer, that might be a problem. So you just never know. And that's why it's always better. It's always better to make sure you don't have drag lines in your backing. And I will go back after this video. Where are we at? We're about 45 minutes in, and I'm going to put a link to the video up top, to that video that shows how I load a backing when I'm just doing the backing. This is harder because I know. Deidre says, I stress so much on my own quilts, I can't imagine doing somebody else's. I know, my friend. I know. But when you're loading that backing, you can put center on the line. You know, you can mark center here and mark center here and load it, and it'll still look wonky. It may not have been woven properly, and you just don't know. Or it might not have been sewn straight. You just don't know. So that's why I always use that method. And that is from my garment sewing days of understanding draping. Okay. Just like draping. This is looking okay. It's thick, but that's to be expected. Also, I want to tell you guys before we get out of here, I made these little things. I think I saw these on a video somewhere. These are mitten clips, okay? Standard mitten clips. I had to research what these were. I live in South Texas. So you've got a clip here on this end that would clamp to a mitten, and a clip here that would go to a jacket, okay, a sleeve, and that way your kids don't lose their mittens. Well, so these are two old quilt blocks, and I had them sandwiched together, okay, and then I just cut them in half and pinked the edges. So what I do is use this. I'll clip this edge, the open edge, to the side of the quilt, and then this edge gets clipped to the grips that attach on the sides. I don't have a whole lot of space, right? Don't have a whole lot of space for that. I've got enough, but if I didn't, you do too. Maureen does this. This is very handy, very handy. Okay. Mitten or shrug. Okay. What do I think of rotary pinkers? Debbie, I like them. I like them very much. Matter of fact, that was cut, I believe, with a rotary pinker. I think they're great. Tangle says, what a clever idea. I don't live in snow country, right? Okay, so as I'm rolling, I can see these seams are pretty straight, okay? As I'm rolling up, we'll go back and forth a couple of times, but it's rolling up. Now, I shouldn't have put all of them on the top. We're crooked. That center seam is like, yeah. I think I'm going to have to take it apart to quilt it. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. You guys are funny. So, that's a lot of work. Now, if you have to take a quilt apart, having it on the long arm is the way to go, because it'll give you the tension that you need in order to get it all done pretty quickly. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to have to take this thing apart. I'm going to just roll it up this way. You can see how it's not straight, right? This thing is up here. Let me see. I've got some bunching right there. So I've got very little top over here and a whole bunch of it over here. All right. So it is not loaded straight. I don't think at all. Oh my goodness. So let's see what we need to do to get this little thing straight here. From what I can see, this end needs to come up, or this end needs to come down. So I'm going to pull this end up higher because I'm out of fabric on the other end. Let's see how that looks. That's better. It's still a lumpy mess. You would trim the backing straight with the quilt and load it and move on. Okay, here we are. We're getting there. That's better, you guys. That is certainly better, huh? That's pretty close. That's pretty close to good. I like that. Uh-oh. Let me see here. Okay. My thing timed out. It was your first big quilt. Debbie, that's fine. Don't worry about that, sweetheart. So it's almost like I'm balancing it from the middle. Okay. What did you say? Harriet, try a piece of batting. I saw it pop up under a piece of batting under the rail to level it out. Yeah. Harriet's full of good advice. So I'm going to unlock this and drop it down so I can pull this up. See? Okay. All right. Look at that. So that's a lot straighter. It's got droopies though because it's not attached. I've only got, look how I've only got 3 sew tights, one on each end and one in the middle, and it's holding with some tension on it. But this right here is straight on the rail. I think it's okay. I think it's okay. Let me give it a little slack. All right. And I'm going to put those magnets back on. And I'm going to get this thing done. We got about 5 minutes left here. Ugh. We're going to go down to the coast this weekend and get the rest of all of our stuff. We've got a golf cart to pick up. And Keith's daughter is coming down from North Texas so that she's getting some furniture out of the house. So she's bringing a trailer down. Okay. And then heading back to North Texas on Saturday. That's going to be a trip. 7 hours from that's a long time. You folks that live in the Northeast, 7 hours and you're still in the same state. That's how we roll down here. Okay. I've done that. Driving to Albuquerque from San Antonio. Yeah, that's looking pretty straight. You go through West Texas. Oh my. Yeah, I just needed to pull the backing wonky, and that way it's going to quilt straight. Okay, one more. Oh, the other quilt I need to get done before we leave on our trip is my friend Dana's t-shirt quilt from her husband's t-shirt that passed away last November. And get that. I really want that done so it's not on my mind while we're gone. Okay. So almost straight. I'm going to have to continue to tweak it a little bit. So 7 hours. Betsy says, I'd be well into Canada. Yeah. Oh, I got an invitation. I saw it this morning. I haven't reached back out, but I think I'd like to. up into the mitten of Michigan. Won't that be awesome? Next summer. Oh, Judy, you got your seam ripper yesterday. Good for you, sweetie. That's awesome. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you don't need it. We all want to get one, something that we don't need, right? All righty. So, and this needs to come up further. I'm looking at the top edge of this quilt now, and I'm making sure it's level with the rail. And that is going to work. Well, let's see. Get hook on. What are you hooking onto? There we go. Whoop. No, there we go. Perfect. All right, you guys. I think we're in business here. Let me make sure we don't have any bubbles. Nope. Looks good. Okay, so I'm straight across the top now. I've got this. This is one of the center seams straight. I think I'm about ready to go finally. Let me turn on Pro Stitcher. Mary says, yay for Michigan. Yeah, they want me to come up and snap-a-kay. I'll work something out. She said they're way up in the mitten. I've never been up that way. I would love to see that. So, okay. Yay, come to Michigan. Yeah, the lower peninsula is considered the mitten. Do I mean the thumb? Perhaps. I don't know. Yeah. Either way, I'm heading to your state, I think. I got to make sure that Mr. Mann is good with that and we can work it in and dates and all that. So Miss Bonnie is managing all of that for me so I can keep all that worked out. I don't know. What is a piece of batting hanging on the top left? It just needs to get tucked up like that. Just needs to get tucked up under there. Yep. Just extra batting. So I'm going to go ahead and put these clips on for the grips. So I've got plenty of room. I'll put this down where you guys can see. I don't know, Bernadette. 50% off Sew Tites with one set and purchase of one set. Go for it. Yay. Okay. See how that works? That's awesome. And then I just do these that come with the frame. Nope, there's our time. But I'm going to get this finished today. Okay. Stop. Awesome. All right, you guys. See? An hour in. Of course, I've been yapping. Still don't have the thing ready to go yet. Yeah, gotta love us some Michiganders. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Well, Gloria, it wasn't my idea for the mitten clips. I saw it in some obscure YouTube video years ago. And I thought, well, okay, that looks good to me. This is really handy when you're getting ready, you know, you're coming over to the edge. And especially if you have the ruler base on here, because that ruler base will hit those clips and cause issues and all that. I am determined, Deidre. By golly, I'm going to get this thing done today. Okay. Sharon says, now I don't have to twitch. You're not ripping out. Oh, you guys. I just love y'all. So I'm going to go. I'm going to continue to work on this. We've got a crew coming today to prep the plastering on my pool. So that is still in the works. And awesome. Lisa Shaw's coming to Michigan in May of 2026. Well, I need to look at those dates and make sure I don't conflict, because some of you would want to go to both, right? Awesome. All right. I will talk to you guys later. I will see you in the morning. Let's do some autumn love tomorrow. And I hope you guys have a great day. Go sew something. Bye.